comments. But if you're in New York, guys, and you're trying to go to see the Guardians whoop on the New York Yankees one more time tonight, cheapest dollar you can get a game time ticket for is $6 for the upper deck. Game time, it saves you so much money. You can save up to 60% off by buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, and theater. The all-in pricing feature that you can toggle on means there's no surprise fees at checkout. You can get a panoramic view of your seat in the app before you buy it, so you know exactly where you're going. And if they have a lowest price guarantee, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference, so you never have to pay more than you actually need to pay. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but create your account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Our next topic involves something Jason Lloyd loves to do, and that is speculate on social media rumors. It is his favorite thing in the world. Jason comes in every day and says, guys, what's the hottest rumor on Twitter? I don't check it, but I need to know because I have hot takes for it
and power
for
rankings,
days.
Power rankings and internet trade rumors.
So we are going to do that because where there's smoke, there might be fire, Jason. And I'm curious if the smoke we are getting from CeeDee Lamb's camp and the Cleveland Browns, if you think that's enough to indicate a fire. CeeDee Lamb made this his Instagram caption yesterday. If you're unfamiliar, this is Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man 3 wearing the black Spider-Man suit. That's also Venom. It's essentially when he turns to the bad guy. Publicly, Jerry Jones has said they have had progressive talks with CeeDee Lamb in terms of a new contract. Publicly, CeeDee Lamb has quote tweeted that and said, LOL. He has removed all following of the Dallas Cowboys from his social media accounts. And speaking of social media, some Browns fans yesterday found out that recently CeeDee Lamb started following quite a few number of Browns players, Jason, including Elijah Moore, Amari Cooper, David Njoku, and a few others. It's also worth noting, not you, Siri, it's worth noting, Jason, go back to that Instagram post. And do you know where Spider-Man 3 was filmed, Jason? Where was this movie filmed?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just gave them the answer.
It was filmed in Cleveland.
Huh?
So, Interesting. Brian Windhorst's meme. Very, very interesting. So, Jason, are you buying that the smoke between whatever CeeDee Lamb is doing on his social media accounts and the smoke that it could be related to the Cleveland Browns indicates there's any potential of a CeeDee Lamb trade forthcoming for Cleveland?
No. He's not a free agent. He's under contract. He's under contract. He's going to play for the Cowboys, guys. He's going to sign an extension. I'm sorry. He's not going anywhere. Jerry was foolish for saying some things that he said earlier on, but money talks, and they will come to terms on an agreement. And I thought Jerry was foolish again yesterday. He was talking about this, and he said, he's annoyed that he wants guys to play out their contract. CeeDee's under contract, he should be playing this out. And I'm paraphrasing here, but basically he said, there is a day where you played on your contract, and then you talked about your new contract. Well, that's gone, and those days are over, and guys can hold out now when they've got 1 year left and want a new deal. And that's the position we're in. They are not going to let CeeDee Lamb walk. They are not going to trade him. It will all work out. He's going to stay right where he's at. If the Cowboys want to make him available, yeah, of course the Browns should be all in. But it's a fantasy world. That's just not the world we're in. Yeah. I don't care who he follows on Instagram. He's under contract to the Cowboys.
Yo, Jerry Jones is funny, man. People be cracking me up when they want to use that old school stuff when they want to, talking about it used to be a day when players played out their contract. All right, Jerry, so go back and watch black and white TV like it was back in the day. I don't see you doing that. You ride around on billion-dollar yachts, man, watching the 100-inch flat screen. So get out of here with that. Listen, it's a pipe dream that's never going to happen, but I got a few ideas how we can make this happen. I'm currently communicating with our UCSS chat right now. We're trying to set up some travel arrangements to go down to Dallas, do what we got to do to hold Jerry Jones hostage, make our demands. I got some people saying they're willing to go to CeeDee's house, pull him out, put him in the car, fly him back to Cleveland. Or Jimmy is a boss, Andrew is a boss. I'm pretty sure somebody got some dirt on somebody to where they can go, hey, listen, you either give me CeeDee Lamb or this comes out and then your ownership stake of the Cowboys go bye-bye. Or y'all can do my favorite thing. You can do my favorite thing. Act like it's Madden, turn the trades off, and then just go get them for 3 6-round picks. And then it's over with.
I literally forgot until this exact moment when CeeDee was coming out of Oklahoma, it was the same year a guy named Courtney Davis was coming out of Texas A&M. Davis didn't get drafted, but they were high school friends. They trained together. I went down and filmed one of CeeDee's workouts for him, and he asked me I have CeeDee's number. Should I text him and ask him if he wants to come to Cleveland?
It's probably not the same number. I'm guessing he had to change his number when he took his phone out of his girl's hand on draft day.
And that was before that. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I'm sure that number is gone.
It's worth a try. I'll do it at the end of the show. I may burn that bridge.
But it's funny as we have fun about it. I mean, to Jason's point, one, he's under contract. And the reality of the situation is the Odell Beckham situation was rare. Like a wide receiver in his prime that has already produced like major numbers becomes available. And it's just hard. It's almost like, man, if you don't catch these guys a year after they've been franchise tagged and you throw some money at them in free agency, or better yet, luck up and draft one of these dudes, it's hard to get your hands on them. Yeah, we got Amari, but we got Amari on the backside of his prime. Yeah. And so, like, you know, to even think that CeeDee Lamb would ever become available, it's hard to fathom that. Crazier things that didn't happen. I don't know what the Cowboys.
I mean, Tyreek Hill was traded.
Yeah, like
Stephon Diggs was traded.
I don't know what the Cowboys cap situation is, but I know you got an X factor on both sides of the football that's looking to get new deals. It'll be interesting how this thing play out. I don't foresee the Browns adding a premier big-time wide receiver this year, but I do think next offseason, whether it be by trade or free agency, we are going to have a big-name wide receiver come in here and play for the Browns.
In terms of the Cowboys, they have to pay Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. Like, they all want new contracts right now, not down the road, not in 2 years. Like, this is prominent issues that Jerry Jones has to figure out. Micah Parsons wants to be the highest paid non-quarterback in the history of the NFL. CeeDee Lamb wants to be the highest paid receiver in the history of the NFL. And Dak Prescott will probably reset the quarterback market with the highest paid contract in the history of the NFL. That's a lot of money for Jerry Jones to have to pay up essentially in one offseason or whenever they figure out how to do this. And the longer he waits, the more expensive they get, which is part of the issue. Jerry Jones could have eradicated this problem in Dallas last offseason when Dak wanted a new contract. Decided to wait, let him play out. Dak balls out. Now Dak has no incentive to negotiate because he's going to be a free agent in the open market next year, and you know some team will throw him crazy amounts of money. Same with CeeDee and Micah. CeeDee's coming into the last year of his deal. I think Micah has 2 more years. But in terms of the reality of CeeDee coming to Cleveland, despite the Instagram post, despite who he follows on social media, I would move heaven, earth, and water to get him in Cleveland if it was possible. There's no way he's really available. There's just no way Dallas would trade him, especially to the team they're playing in week 1.
And man, Jason, I kind of want your rebuttal to this because, you know, when you're franchised, when you get the franchise tag, it's the average salary of the top 5 paid positions, right? So that wide receiver position, average salary number just keep going up and up. I think Jerry Jones is playing with fire, playing with CeeDee. Because if CeeDee goes out here and has another 1,600-yard season and double-digit touchdowns, yesterday's price is not today's price. Like, whatever you was going to pay for him today, that price going to go up tomorrow. And so, like, you know, when you find yourself in these situations and you got some premier playmakers like that, you got to make some tough decisions. I mean, you clearly hit on your draft picks. You clearly did everything that you did at that said time. But, again, you was going to have to pay up.
And we talked about this earlier in the week. The Cowboys are the most valuable sports franchise in the world. They just got a Forbes evaluation of over $10 billion, and they're 30th in the NFL in cash spent on a year-to-year basis. The Browns right now are second most in the NFL. Shout out to Jimmy Haslam. Seriously, he'll pay up front. He'll give you the bonuses. He'll convert stuff over. That's how the Browns are able to kind of navigate this cap situation with so many highly priced players. They lead the NFL with players with 14 this year making $10 or more million. How do they do that? A lot of it is in signing bonuses and paid up front. Jerry Jones hasn't shown the willingness to do that, despite owning the most valuable franchise in the history of the world. And it's going to come back to bite him in the ass at some point.
I know it's so many different variables that goes into having a good and successful NFL franchise and being a good owner. And I know Jimmy be catching some slack, man. But for me, I'm sorry. At the end of the day, when you got an owner that's willing to spend money on the front end, it makes Andrew Berry's job a whole lot easier. And it keeps the Browns from having to go through situations that other franchises go through. Now, will Jimmy meddle a little bit Would he get in there and try to?
Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
It's like at
We
the
all have
end of
our
the
flaws.
day, I'll take all of that, man, because all I ever hear or see from this dude is he wants to spend money, whether it be on players, a stadium, changing jerseys,
And you wanna know the
whatever
difference?
the case may be.
Here's the
Like,
difference.
sign me up for that.
Even if Jimmy meddles, at least he spends. Jerry for sure meddles,
And he ain't trying to
and
spend
he
no
ain't
money.
spending. So you can't have it both ways. We'll wrap this up with this. Would you move heaven, earth, and water to get CeeDee Lamb if he was made available?
Yes, of course.
Will he ever be made available?
No.
Feel the same way?
Absolutely.
We're all in agreement. Even though I do love him posting the Spider-Man 3 meme, which was shot in Cleveland, because it pokes all the right buttons for social media rumors.
Jerry said some foolish things over the course of this negotiation. He's often said some things that, but you know what? He's brilliant at doing. We're talking about the Cowboys in Cleveland. They're talking about the Cowboys in Pittsburgh. They're talking about the Cowboys everywhere, and that's what Jerry Jones wants. He doesn't care what you say about him, good, bad, or indifferent. You could rip him up one side and down the other. I've had people who know him very well say he is got the thickest skin they've ever been around. As long as you're talking about the Cowboys, as long as you're talking about him, that's all he cares about.
There's a show in Cincinnati right now, and their fan base and their sports media personalities are having conversations about how CD is better than T. Higgins, and we could just swap them and send a draft pick and get CeeDee Lamb. So you're absolutely right. This talk is being had everywhere.
Let's be honest, the Bengals are a poverty franchise. They can't afford to pay for some sort of show like UCSS. It'll never be the only.
They can't even pay the
their own-
phone bill to make the phone
They
call.
gave the kicker an extension, by the way. We never actually talked about that. But in this whole world where you're not going to pay Higgins and you're not going to pay Jamar Chase and none of these guys are getting the money they want.
They copycats. Andrew Berry give Hopkins an extension. They give they kicker an extension. And then they had the audacity to like debut some orange pants. Like,
they were ugly as hell,
like,
too.
and
Yeah.
y'all little bro. Like, understand y'all little bro. Y'all not big bro. I could care less about the recent success that y'all had over the last 10 years. Y'all been a poverty franchise down in the dumps just like us. Don't get it